Hey there, this is Brandon Anderson with your first ever Newsberg podcast. I'm going to try to do these weekly to keep you informed on the stories that are coming out each week, some highlighted events, but mostly we're going to keep it short, sweet, so that you know what you need to know and then you can get on with your day. Today we're talking about a big new chapter for one of Newberg's oldest buildings, a summer camp that's just for the adults, a few Newsberg updates, and a couple more. Without further ado, let's jump in. The historic 1888 brick building on the corner of First and Meridian is getting a major glow up, and a well-known name in the local beer scene is moving on in. Christian D. Benedetti, the owner of Wolves and People Farmhouse Brewery, is teaming up with building owner Steve Everly to bring a new downtown bar and music venue to life. It'll feature Wolves and People beer, live music, a full food menu, a full bar, something that hasn't really been possible at the brewery's rural farm location. D. Benedetti said he's always dreamed of having a spot in the heart of town, and after a meeting with Everly, who's been restoring the building with some serious attention to historic detail, the timing felt right.
For a variety of reasons, we've always been thinking about wanting to do something in the heart of town where so many of our fans and followers live, and in a space where we could do more along the lines of presenting food and presenting amplified music and doing a lot of different things that don't really work here on the farm property.
Everly's been busy transforming the upstairs into vacation rentals that look like they belong in the 1880s. Downstairs, the former home of Right On Computers and Sheer Expressions has been taken down to the studs, literally, to reveal original brick, make some room for pressed tin ceilings, vintage decor, and even a historic boat that will double as shelving. You heard that right, it is a boat. It's the second one that was ever registered in Yamhill County and belonged to the building's original proprietor. Everly said that he hoped to bring in a bar and restaurant but didn't want to run it himself. After some outreach, he connected with D. Benedetti just as Wolves and People was going through a tough stretch. The brewery had a major equipment failure, and Benjamin Road, their only access point from Highway 99, closed in June. As you might guess, business has dropped. The new downtown spot will offer some relief with better visibility, foot traffic, and a permanent stage for live shows. If you've been to one of the farm's Bluegrass Jam Nights or the Newgrass Festival, you know music is a big part of D. Benedetti's brand. He says bluegrass will be a staple, but all genres are welcome.
We want to keep attracting the kind of talent that we have for Newgrass last year and this coming year. Not just bluegrass, by the way. Mm-hmm. I don't want to, if you're allergic to banjos, don't worry. It's not going to be an only bluegrass bar, but we're definitely inspired by some classic places around. There's a bar.
To help fund the build out, Wolves and People launched a GoFundMe and raised over $8,700 in just a few days, more than halfway to their $16,000 goal. If all goes well with permits, the new bar and yet to be announced restaurant could be open by November. And for fans of the farm brewery, don't worry. It's staying open seasonally from March to October, with brewing and packaging still happening out on Benjamin Road. One quick note of transparency before we go to the next one. I used to work at Wolves and People back in 2022. I think a lot of you might have met me there. But like everything we do at Newsberg, the story is reported independently with the facts front and center. We just like to include disclosures when they're there. All right, switching gears now from historic bars to a summer under the stars. A group of Newberg locals asked themselves a very important question. Why should kids have all the fun at summer camp? That question led to Camp Rewind, a new summer camp experience just for adults, launching its first weekend session this August 22 through 25 at the Oregon Outdoor Education Center in Salem. The idea came from sisters Elizabeth Curtis Gemroy and Megan Rogers Sarnecki. Both grew up going to camp and both missed what they called the quote-unquote time warp. It's a magic feeling of unplugging from everyday life and just playing outside that you'd get when you went to camp. Also, Megan, really sorry if I mispronounced your name there. It's a tough one.
And it's really hard. They tell you there's a lot of mental health issues with teenagers and adults though, right? Like the crisis of mental health is increasing. And what do they tell you to do all the time? Have fun, just try to relax, have fun, play,
not isolate.
Stress, don't isolate.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to do that when
Their goal? Recreate the best parts of camp nature and creativity and community without the curfews, the cafeteria trays, or the religious affiliations of their youth. They teamed up with local writer Beth Woolsey and longtime camp leader Craig Koskela to design a low-pressure, grown-up version of camp that still makes space for connection and play. Activities range from archery and fishing to karaoke, yoga, arts, crafts, even just hammocking and peace. The schedule is mostly flexible and many events are camper-led. It's an adult camp, they say, and you kind of just want to do whatever you want, but there will be some guidance in case you want to explore something new. Curtis Gemeroy put it like this: "It's about giving people a chance to encourage their inner child and reconnect after years of isolation, stress, and, let's be honest, too many group chats and not enough real conversations since the COVID-19 pandemic."
I think it's time for us to come together again. And as adults, it's really hard if you lose a friend. It's really hard to make new friends.
Yeah.
And so hopefully camp would be a place to just have other adults who maybe like doing similar things. And so
Camp Rewind is open to all adults, and yes, they've thought of the parents with young kids and limited childcare. There's a nearby childcare option available for day trippers. No kids are allowed at the camp itself, though. This one's just for the grown-ups. Registration closes on August 10, and they say that they're about 3/4 full as of now. You can find more information if you go to Newsberg and click on the Camp Rewind story. That's where you can find all the links to register and learn more information. Lastly, we have a few shorter updates from around town. First and foremost, I was happy to see so many of you out at the Newberg Old Fashioned Festival this weekend. Fun fact, it's the first year that I was in town and able to see it. So I ran around with my camera, taking photos of the event to capture what may be the last time we see the festival in this capacity, since Rennie Field is soon to be under construction, as that's slated to start later this year. I published about 40 photos to the gallery at Newsberg, but had about 100 more that I couldn't let them just gather dust on a hard drive. I'm publishing them in a large Google photo folder and made a link public. So if you want to relive the action from Saturday and Sunday, head to Newsberg, click on the Old Fashioned Festival gallery, and see them all. Newberg City Council last week was relatively uneventful, with the main topic of discussion surrounding some public works projects and funding a new diesel street sweeper, as well as pipe inspection tools. There's continued conversation around Spark Newberg, the pending project that was conditionally awarded over $700,000 from the City of Newberg Construction Excise Tax Fund. More to come on that as I research and report. Lastly, I have 2 Newsberg updates before we get into the events this week. First and foremost, I'm so excited to finally announce that Newsberg has partnered with Portico, which might not mean anything to you, and that's okay. But for me, it's a pretty big deal because Portico is a digital archiving system that is just bringing in digital publications. The idea behind it is that digital publications can, at any point, disappear if the business goes under, or if a server catches fire, or any of the other things that can happen in the tech world. I just wanted to make sure that any stories that I publish will live long beyond Newsberg, even though I know that with your support, I'm going to be reporting well into my hundreds. But I wanted to ensure that the generations after us have historical records from this time. While the archive isn't public facing without a trigger event like the business closing down, it still provides me that peace of mind that all of this hard work telling and recording our stories will be preserved. Head to the website to read that full release and learn a little bit more about this program. Also, I'm so excited to announce that my wife and I are expecting our second child at the end of August. For those of you who don't know, Newsberg started in the birthing suite while we were waiting for our first son to arrive. Time truly does keep on slipping into the future, but I wanted to share that news with readers to highlight an important reality. I am a singular point of failure for this company at the moment. As a solopreneur, I don't really have anyone who can step in while I take paternity leave, as this example shows. In others, if I were to get sick or injured, that just means that Newsberg also gets sick or injured. All this to say, I'm working on developing some funding models that will provide an avenue for tax-deductible donations so we can directly fund a future report and maybe pay the current reporter for the past 2.5 years of unpaid labor. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. Right now, what I could really use is somebody to help me cover all of the different beats in Newberg that will provide more information to Newberg citizens who can be more informed about what's happening, connecting more deeply with this town that we live in. Okay, enough of that. I've got one last thing for you. It's one event happening over the weekend, and if you're a fan of Shakespeare, or maybe just some good drama, you might want to clear a night for this one. Penguin Productions is bringing something ambitious to the stage with Upon the King, an epic outdoor performance adapted from 8 of Shakespeare's history plays. Yes, 8. Upon the King follows the English crown as it passes from ruler to ruler through wars, alliances, betrayals, battles. It starts with the 100 Years' War in France and carries all the way through the War of Roses, making one continuous story packed with both high-stakes drama and surprisingly human moments. This version condenses Shakespeare's most powerful scenes and speeches into a single sweeping narrative, exploring what it really means to wear the crown, the glory, burden, sacrifice, all of it. It's making its Oregon debut right here under the stars in true Penguin fashion. And even if you've seen Shakespeare before, you probably haven't seen it quite like this. Check Penguin's website or social media for showtimes and tickets, pack a blanket and a picnic to experience all the outdoor theater has to offer. Penguin Productions is a Newsberg sponsor and a big part of how I'm able to do this for free to the reader, so please consider supporting Penguin and all of our advertisers. That's it for this inaugural episode of the Newsberg podcast. I'm Brandon Anderson. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you around town.